Again with Christian Miller taking him down.
It's time for the Miller's Edge with New York Giants legend and South Carolina Hall of Famer Corey Miller and his son, four-time SEC champion and two-time national champion Christian Miller.
And knocked down again. It was Christian Miller.
Here is college football playoff national champion
Christian Miller
on Tide 100.9
and 12:30 a.m. WTBC.
And welcome into this Wednesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Sport Experts. Hope everybody doing a little bit better, right? I would say great, but we know it's been quite the week thus far. You know, I guess recapping everything that went down on Saturday. But the good news is I feel like we've kind of got most of it out of our system, I think, right? And if you guys still got some more to talk about, feel free, 205-342-9904. In terms of breaking it down, though, I feel like we broke it down a good bit. I will say, though, we did have former Penn State lineman who now does some YouTube content, some breakdown stuff. He had tagged us in a video where he was breaking down our running game from Saturday. So I might actually play a little bit of that because he did a really nice job just kind of showing, you know, what we were trying to get to, where things, I guess, kind of fell short. And the good news is, because we have had a lot of people asking, I know Ram called yesterday, was asking and basically saying, hey, are these things correctable? I mean, what are the odds that we get this stuff fixed moving forward? Well, in regards to the running game, which, again, had success in that first drive, at least 55 yards, 8 minutes, 50 seconds taken off the clock. The good news is, number one, I'm a firm believer. If you've done it once, you can do it again. But two, after seeing Landon's breakdown of the running game specifically, he definitely feels like it's very correctable. So maybe we'll pull up that video and just kind of share a little bit of it here on the show. And I did talk to him. We'll start getting him to join the show as well. That way we can get his perspective, especially being a former offensive lineman. Be good to have his breakdowns of, I guess, like, you know, the running game, pass pro, stuff like that. Obviously, we can break it down too, but that was his thing. That's his bread and butter. And I always like getting different perspectives. So we'll work to get him on the show as well. Plus a couple other things, Chase, that have been popping up in the news. Obviously, you guys see by the title, starting to look a little bit ahead at ULM. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. Not going to be nearly as thorough of a breakdown because I'm just going to be completely flat out here. There's no excuse why we should. I don't think we need to really look at scheme, Chase, all this other stuff. We've got better players than them, right? I mean, it's just a fact. And I'll be honest with you, I don't care really what they try to do. They should not win this game at all. That being said, I'll still try to preview a little bit of kind of what they like to do, maybe some of their key players, but it's not going to be nearly in depth because I know you guys probably could care less about that as well, unless you really want me to dive into it. But I think we all know how these games kind of go. And obviously the biggest thing I think we were looking for in this matchup really has nothing to do with scheme or any of that. I think it's more so is how do our players respond? How do they show up? And speaking of them and their response, they spoke to the media yesterday and we didn't get to play any of it. So we will play some of those videos. I know there's a couple of at least answers that I definitely want to play, but I know Quay Russaw spoke and Quavis also spoke. Bernard spoke. And I'll be honest with you, Bernard's interview was probably one of the few that I actually felt like he gave the right answer. Some of the other ones, man, and I know it's tough. These guys are getting asked tough questions. I'll be honest. I don't even know how I would handle it necessarily because I haven't had to, because we never really had that type of deal. Like when I was playing here, I never really had. I mean, yeah, we got whooped in my final game against Clemson, but we didn't have to just go face the media. Well, I guess technically after the game, but then, you know, you're out, right? It's not like we were coming back and all that stuff. That was the end of the year. Other than that, I've never really been in this spot. So probably not the easiest spot to be in as a player. I mean, the whole nation, I mean, literally, it's just on your tail. You're getting lit up left and right, local media, national media. But anyway, those guys did speak to the media after practice, so we'll definitely play some of those interviews. But again, like I said, I'll be honest with you. Jeremy Bernard, not only did he play well in the game, but even, I mean, just in the press conference, which I know we're all sick and tired of hearing stuff. But, I mean, if you did want to at least try to take something positive away, I think his attitude and his outlook, I mean, if we had a team filled with Jeremy Bernards, think we'd be all right. Problem is, it's not how it works. So we'll probably dive into a little bit of those interviews here on the show as well. But I see we already got callers lining up. So we'll jump ahead and go to the phone lines first, and then we'll dive into that when we get a chance. But I want to throw this out there, and we'll talk about this later in the show, because this is something we have been talking about over the last few months, knowing, the new revenue sharing model, a lot of schools trying to find ways to generate more revenue. I know people just assume that these schools have endless amounts of money, but the reality is the football programs are really the only programs bringing in money outside of men's basketball at some schools. Other than that, a lot of these other programs are working in deficits. That being said, you've got to find ways to come up with that money to be able to participate in the revenue sharing model. We knew people were going to get innovative. We heard about potential jersey patches. We heard about, field logos and things like that. Well, we finally figured out what Alabama's going to be doing in terms of trying to find ways to generate some more cash. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth. But just know it's not coming in the form of a jersey patch, at least not yet. But it will be on the field. We'll talk about what that is, what that looks like, all that, and more coming up on the show. Plus, last but not least, there's been a lot of, obviously, talk in the media, but I've heard a lot of former players share their opinions, whether it's through the media, social media, whatever the case may be. And I know Mark Ingram was on his podcast talking about his thoughts, and I thought they definitely were very interesting. So we might dive into that as well. But first and foremost, we're going to go to you guys, because I know we need to get back to the phone lines. We've been talking so much last couple of days. So we'll do that when we come back. Smitty, I owe you. I remember yesterday we ran out of time. So Smitty, if you do want to dial us up, man, I promise we'll get you right there. Oh, matter of fact, he's already on the phone line. So you're first up when we come back after this quick timeout. But let me remind you about our friends over at the Good Feet Store real quick, our presenting sponsor. Not only that, but they also are trying to hook you guys up as well in terms of the Kicking for Cash challenge that they will be doing. And as a matter of fact, it starts this weekend. So if you guys are attending the game, make sure you guys get involved with that, right? It's Kicking for Cash. Everybody wants free cash. They want free stuff in general, but free cash, man, you can't beat it. All you got to do is kick a field goal, I believe. I think that's the challenge there. So make sure you guys check that out. That is presented by the Good Feet Store, just like we are. But again, the Good Feet Store, responsible for those arch supports designed to eliminate and alleviate all types of pain, foot pain, knee pain, back pain, you name it. They will take care of it. And I'm telling you, you guys will not be disappointed, man. Again, if you're on your feet all the time, like myself, you're dealing with, things like knee tendonitis, right? Hip pain, back pain, all that stuff. These things are game changers. So let them do that for you. Again, that is the Good Feet Store, Midtown Village here in Tuscaloosa. Plus, nationwide, go to their website, goodfeet.com, where you can type in your zip code and find the nearest location to you. Again, that is the Good Feet Store, improving the quality of people's lives. 2 feet at a time. Quick timeout. We get rolling right here on the Miller's Edge. When we come back, Tide on 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
At Tuscaloosa Mazda, they are expanding their showroom to serve you better. Come see their new and pre-owned Mazda lineup, offering fuel efficiency, advanced technology, and plush comfort. Tuscaloosa Mazda, 3100 Skyland Boulevard East, or online at TuscaloosaMazda.com.
Craving the best Southern comfort food around? Catfish Heaven is calling your name. From crispy golden catfish fillets to their finger-licking wings served hot, sauced, and seasoned to perfection. They've got the flavors you love. Don't forget the Hush Puppies.
All right, let's see what we got in here. Mike, what's up? Kenji, Crystal, what's going on? Crystal, Chapman, how are y'all? QD, my guy, what's up? Ryan, Julene, how are y'all? Jason, what's up? William. Oh, that's a great point. Players only meeting. Yeah, we definitely got to bring that up. I know they talked about that. I'll definitely share my thoughts on that. It's a great question. Happy Wednesday, Mike. Crystal from Lexington. By the way, these are practice highlights from yesterday's practice. Just threw those on the screen for now. There's no sound. I got one more head-scratching comment. How come the only ones that were showing maximum effort were the two guys that transferred with Coach DeBoer from Washington, Bernard and Brailsford? Mike, I wish I could answer that, man. I'm still just trying to figure out. I mean, you're right. I mean, those two guys definitely did step up big, but I'm just trying to figure out in general, man, like the disconnect. And I'll be honest with you. I mean, to me, I think it's just evident. I was listening to, I think it was the Bama Standard. I think it popped up, and I think AJ and Siski were on there. He was here when I was here. I think he was doing like player development or something like that. But they were basically saying, I can pull up the clip. But basically, they were basically talking about, this is on the players. Now, the coaches can't go out there and do these things, and coaches can't run routes. The coaches can't go block. They can't tackle. And I agree, and that's why you guys have heard me talk about it. Like, I mean, I know a lot of people are beating up on the coaches and going straight to schematics and play calling, but like I said, the past 2 days, while that, things can always be improved, right? Yeah, I can point some stuff out that just like some techniques and things that I'm not too high on, right? But at the end of the day, I know for a fact none of that was the biggest issue. The biggest issue was everything we discussed in terms of lack of effort, toughness, physicality, all that stuff, right? And that's on the players. However, so I agree with AJ and Siski on that point. That is on the players. But where I disagree is they put it as if like the coaches had no responsibility with that. And I disagree on that because that comes from leadership, right? As a player, you don't play like that or give effort like that or have lack of effort like that. Unless you just there's no fear in the consequences. You get what I'm saying? Like, and I know that for a fact from being a player, right? That just doesn't fly. And not only that, even like player accountability. Like, that's culture and leadership. And to me, that also falls on the coaches, man. Player execution I agree with them. Like, that's on the guys, right? Even their effort, they need to hold themselves accountable. And welcome back into this Wednesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. We're gonna jump to the phone lines early on because I know we had a couple people left hanging yesterday, so I got to make good on my word. We'll definitely do that. Plus, I want to keep breaking stuff down. Look a little bit ahead to ULM, but definitely have been some comments that some former guys have made, and I just want to talk about some of those. I was talking about it during the break with our YouTube audience. Again, we're streaming live on YouTube if you guys want to check us out. I believe it was AJ and Siski that had joined the Bama Standard, and they were talking about this game. Very fiery, very passionate. It was good stuff. Again, you can find that on the Bama Standard's YouTube channel. But I wanted to dive into my thoughts and basically their thoughts because while I agree with some of it I did disagree with. But I wanted to get y'all's thoughts and where y'all kind of lean with it as well. But I'll get that pulled up while we go to the phone lines, and that way we can play it and then break it down here in a minute. But 205-342-9904. First up, we got Smitty, who, again, I promised him yesterday he's first up, so I'm making good on it. Smitty, welcome in.
Hey, what's going on, Christian? How's everything going with you?
Oh, it's great, bro. How are you?
Good. Not as hot as Phoenix today, but so no complaints there. But a couple of things, right? I think losing brings clarity on a lot of things. When people start talking about they want the coach fired, these boosters can be mad all they want and everything. Two things. One, like Fitzky said, and we already do this, you got to pay the buyout the coach, the staff. You got to hire a coach, hire his staff. And here's one more important thing. We found this out last year when Saban retired. If your coach leaves, there's a 30-day window at any time for your players to leave. A lot of those recruits are going to follow K and the board, including Keelan Russell people. So what I'm saying is that, like, with these big buyouts, it's forcing these schools to be more patient because they've been patient with Mike Norvell for this buyout. And look with Florida State, they feeling good about themselves now. Auburn is still paying two coaches, Miles and Brian Harsin. And you got to come up with money to pay these kids. So I'm thinking, guys, I know he may be upset, but you have to have patience. And I know people want K and the board to yell, cuss people out the sideline and stuff. That's not his personality. Marcus Freeman, I don't see Sark. I don't see Ryan Day. I don't see James Franklin out there throwing stuff, cussing people out. Brian Kelly did, but folks criticized it because he wasn't winning championships. So if Saban wasn't winning championships, would they be saying he's yelling too much? But when you win, nobody says anything. You can rob a bank. long as you win, everybody's cool, you know.
Yeah. No, listen, I agree with that. I've never been one to say, oh, you have to yell to have success. Like you just mentioned, there are examples of guys who have done it. I mean, and look, even here's an NFL example, like the Rams, right? Their head
Yeah.
coach, you know what I mean? He's a younger guy. I remember talking to some of my teammates that were playing out there the year they won their Super Bowl when they beat Cincinnati. And I remember the offseason, even like their training camp. Like we were doing physical tackle, series in practice, all this stuff. And I remember they were talking about, oh yeah, no, we're just helmets, bro. Oh no, we just do like they're doing half the work physically that we were doing. And then they go out and win a Super Bowl. And I know it's different. I know they had good players and whatnot. Obviously, you got to have the Jimmys and Joes. We talk about that. But what I'm saying is there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. However, here's my thing. It's not so much just about the yelling piece, but I still think you have to have, number one, if the head coach doesn't do it, there still has to be enforcers. That's just a fact. Whether it's coming from the strength coach, it's coming from an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, hell, and it needs to come from the players for sure. You've got to have some type of enforcement who is going to establish that standard and build that culture, and it has to marinate. The problem that I have right now is, and not just from week 1 Florida State, but even going back to last season, right? To me, I talked about this yesterday. It's like a disconnect. It's as if the players, they don't fear consequences. They are that, or maybe somewhat of a lack of authority. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to say they're just walking on the coaches, because I think they love and respect their coaches, but it's not that relationship that probably, where at least that relationship's not where it probably needs to be. You heard my dad talking about it. Sometimes, the parent, kid, you're real cool, and that means the kid kind of feels like they can get away with stuff. And the reason I'm getting at that is you just look at like the effort being given, and then when guys go to the sideline, there's nobody really enforcing anything. Like, and I know people are sick of us comparing it to, when Coach Saban was here. Like, I'm not trying to compare Kalen DeBoer to Nick Saban, but what I'm comparing is the culture and the standard and the level of accountability that we had. Like, it wasn't a joke.
Yeah.
Like, when they said hands behind the line, everybody's fingernails had to be behind that line. If your nail was touching the line, they would call it back and we would restart, right? Like, and I'm talking about way in the offseason. You know what I mean? If a guy walked off the field, we as players, coaches even, they would send your tail back onto the field and make you run off. And to me, all those little details is what added up to make us such a, and again, I'm not saying we were the most disciplined. We had penalties at times too, but you get what I'm saying? Like, and then right, then you cap it off with, we knew, like I knew for a fact, if I put tape out there like some of these guys did from Saturday of loafing, jogging around, not even next week, I knew for after that series, my ass was coming on the bench. Like, my ass would be right there on the bench. Like, and that's just a fact. Like, and I knew next week, I'm not going to have my same spot. They are going to push up whoever, T. Terrell Lewis, whoever, Chris Allen, whatever. Like, I knew for a fact if I gave that type of effort, not only would I, face the, the repercussions from Coach Saban, my position coach, my teammates, dude. I mean, I would have to probably go fight somebody in the locker room to defend myself, because somebody probably come fight me. Like, and I don't see that. And to me, that's where I do disagree with AJ and Siski on that point, because I get the coaches can't go out there and run routes, block guys, whatever, right? And to me, I mean, the prep is one thing, and from a schematic standpoint, but you also have the aspect of the preparation of getting guys, to have the right mentality to go out there and understand, like, we have a certain standard, and if I don't live up to that standard, I have to answer to my teammates. I have to answer to my position coach, my coordinator, my head coach, and that's the last thing I want. Right now, it just seems like guys are comfortable going through the motions or giving, having a lack of effort, and it's like they're not afraid of the consequences. To me, that concerns me, and I think that does fall somewhat on the coaches. That's just my opinion, though, because they're the leaders.
And one thing I would say also, I remember a South Florida game 2 years ago in Tampa where that team just quit and loafed and give no effort, and no one lost their spot. And many of those guys are still here. I think, like I was saying yesterday, it seems like the Washington guys are the ones that are playing with the effort, the toughness. Brailsford, the best offensive lineman, gives it everything he has. Jeremy Bernard is wide receiver one, in my opinion. He should be spokesperson for the team. He's tough. Josh Cuevas, when he gets the ball, he runs tough. He's running through tackles. All of those guys are from the West Coast. Bros are from here in the Phoenix area and played at Washington. And they're tougher and showing more heart to these guys that bred from the South that eating collard greens, fried pork, chopped hot water cornbread. Sorry.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So
you're not wrong in this last game.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. 100%. The fish tacos, they stole the show.
They are pretty good, by the way. The mahi-mahi, grilled mahi-mahi tacos and mango sauce is good stuff out here. But here's the thing, though. I think what Kalen DeBoer should do is like what Bobby Knight said. Well, the greatest motivator of all is butt on bench. Oh, sorry. Like LT Overton is a 3-4 end. He's in the wrong system. If you're going side to side, you got to have your fast guys. And my thing is, if those linebackers, because when you watch it, a lot of times the defensive end opened it up for the linebacker to make the hit, but they were tiptoeing and all that. My thing is, and you know this, if your linebackers are slow, your defense is slow. And if these guys can't make a tackle, they can't do their run fits, I'd rather mess with some of these young guys who were brought in by this staff. I'd rather mess with them. At least I think they'll be fast. I don't think they won't arm tackle, and I don't think that they will let a guy blow them up like it did Justin Jefferson. And one thing about offensive line as well, right? I give Brett for all the credit in the world. But Caden Proctor should be a guard. He is too slow. I'm sorry. It's been year 3, and you can't tell me a backup could do any worse. And because he's not a freshman anymore. And it's not like, hey, you hold the ball too long. This guy gets whipped quickly. And we got to be real. Ty Simpson, I don't think he's talented enough to lift the team like those Bryce Young years where they could have lost 4 games. I'm not saying that's a knock. That's just a generational player for Alabama. So, and I think the last thing is, I think DeBoer's the right guy. You know, you just have to be patient. You have to realize college football has changed. And I think you're just going to have to be in that portal aggressively every year to pay defensive linemen, pass rushers, keep the offensive line. Because you can find receivers anywhere. They grow on trees. But you have to do that. But the one thing about him being the head coach, you got to tell Ryan Grubb, hey, run the ball. That's why he got fired from the Seahawks. I remember that. You have to run the ball because it's not about the big play with a run. It's about controlling the game and leaning on. Because if you notice, correct me if I'm wrong here, Florida State was not running a hurry-up tempo offense. They just kept the defense on the field. And conversely, Alabama had chances to get Florida State off the field. That first touchdown Florida State scored, yeah, Dijon Lee got beat. It wouldn't have happened if they didn't have a 3rd down penalty. Got off the field and would have gotten back on the field of defense after a 15-play drive. Late in the game, there was another penalty. Kept the drive going. If you do your job and don't commit silly penalties, they wouldn't be scoring. They would have been off the field. So it just shows that, hey, coaches can only do so much. How many times, like you guys always said, y'all worry about your teammates disappointing them? Because the coaches should be the ones, like if the big stuff happens, the little stuff, y'all should handle it between yourselves. And I think they need to reevaluate who the leaders are. I think Jeremy Bernard should be the leader of this team. He should be. Because Ryan Williams, in my opinion, I saw video and stuff of Jeremiah Smith training and stuff. I didn't see much of Ryan Williams. Someone has one posted, but I see him doing everything else. Does he want to be a great receiver or a celebrity? Does he want to be Marvin Harrison, which I think his body type reminds me of, or Odell Beckham? That's the thing. And I think you have to make some tough decisions sometimes. You may have to sit someone to send a message. If they transferred, so be it. Find somebody else. And I think that includes anybody on that team. I don't care if Ryan Williams retransfers. If you don't want to do it, you do it. And I forgot to say this also. Players, these coaches and schools got to treat them like the NFL. these NIL deals aren't necessarily like contracts like you're in the league. If you ain't performing, rescind that deal, put somebody else in the next season. And I know you guys said everything y'all said about Kane Womack. I can't add anything else, but that's all I have. And I just think that you have to sometimes just sit somebody. It may be a top dog, but hey,
Right.
if they don't get the message, find somebody else. But hey, thanks for taking my call. And you guys keep up the good
100%.
work.
Yeah, no, that was great stuff, Smitty. I appreciate you, bro.
All right.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'll definitely respond when we come back from this timeout. We got to hit a timeout here, but really good stuff from Smitty right there on the phone lines. Again, 205-342-9904 if you guys want to get in on the conversation. We'll take this timeout. I'm going to pull up that clip, too, that we were talking about from AJ and Siski on the Bama Standard as well. That way you guys can hear the context. But we'll keep on rolling after this quick timeout right here, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. Let me see. I don't know exactly where it's at. Let's see.
Okay, ain't no different on a football team. When we were out, everybody wants to say, and look, he's the GOAT, the best to ever do it. Okay, nobody's ever going to argue that. I love the man to death. But as much as Coach Saban gets credit for that, you know where the credit really belongs? It belongs to the players. Because none of that shit happened. Just like I asked Marvin and AJ, you think they were going? You think a coach would have to tell a player, "Hey, we're not. Hey, look, we're not walking with a damn freaking stuffed animal down." No.
See, now I agree 100%. He's right in terms of a lot of it was player driven, and Coach Saban, number one, always said that. I mean, players definitely receive a lot of the credit, even though I definitely think he deserves a whole hell of a lot of it himself, obviously. But and he's talking about player accountability, and I think that's why they're going back to saying like, there's only so much coaches can do. But at the same time, I just do know, as a coach, they're also responsible for that leadership and that culture that they establish. And I do know the reason, like, yeah, we had dogs on our team 100%, but a lot of that messaging came from Coach himself. You get what I'm saying? Like, we were mirroring, all right, man, Coach doesn't play that shit. Like, we knew that. You know what I mean? Like, so obviously, yes, they would have been, or we would have been holding the standard regardless. But the fact that we were modeling that after Coach Saban, just like before we held our player-only meetings every Thursday, because we used to do that before a Thursday practice, or before we got started with our meetings Thursday, we always had player-only meetings, right? Something that Coach Cochran, I think, had kind of set up, and it was a thing like forever. And so what would happen was the leadership group, right, would go up to Coach Saban's office before that meeting. So say the meeting started at 2:00, we would go up there at like 1:45, sit in there with him, and he would kind of just talk to us, kind of ask us, how we felt about this week of practice, prep, all that good stuff. Then he always would kind of, it's not he was telling us what to say, but you could tell he was kind of just, putting in our ear kind of a message that he had been dwelling on, something like that. You get what I'm saying? So I agree with them. The player side of accountability has to kind of take precedent, but at the same time, the coaches have to also hold themselves accountable for enforcing that accountability. And to me, I just don't know if we're necessarily seeing that.
Don't you repeat this? Do you know at Alabama that there were a many fight?
I know that. Yeah, I know.
All right, and I'm gonna tell a story because I love the hell out of him. I haven't talked to him forever, but I love the hell out of him. We go. Matter of fact, it was AJ's last game. We played Oklahoma in the Sugar Bowl. Okay, on Wednesday of the Kick Six game, Ha Clinton Dix tore his meniscus at practice. On
100.9
before we played on Saturday.
And welcome back into this Wednesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Support Experts. I'm trying to find the specific spot where they were talking about the deal about it being more players and coaches in terms of the accountability aspect. So I'm going to keep looking for that. So let's go to the phone lines, and I'll play it in the background and try to find that while we give Pat a chance to speak a little bit. Pat, welcome in.
Man, how we doing that? I want to use your platform, if you don't mind, to get people off of Ryan Williams and rest of my receivers. Ryan Williams had at least 3 of his targets possibly should have been catches. Had concentration been different, we don't know. I wasn't there real time and seeing what Ryan saw. That I do know that he got his bell rung. Darn sure did. More than likely, Ryan Williams won't be playing Saturday. What do you think?
You're talking about his injury, like the concussion?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
His
I haven't.
concussion protocol, more than likely, he won't play Saturday.
Yeah, especially no disrespect to ULM, but I don't anticipate him playing this week. But that's just me. I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, all right. That's kind of what I thought from what I could tell, and and which, like I said, I'm not talking about ULM and that kind of thing. ULM, I was on the field when ULM beat the crap out of us. Kind of was how you say that? They paid me to watch the ball game back in that day. And, I would have been there. I'd have done the job for free. But back to this deal here that we really need to get these crazy. And it's only a handful, but there's so many people that don't call into the radio that feel the same way. That effort and stuff may not be there. I want to get out these kids, even though they're getting paid a lot of money now. Some of them are not getting paid a whole lot, but some of them are getting, all of them are getting paid something. And that they've got to remember they're still just kids. And now, as far as, and I hope Corey hears this, that the days of our championships back to back, blah, 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 are gone. If you want to see championships, you got to go back and watch film of Coach Saban. That was $20 million. You're going to have to catch lightning in a bottle like Coach O did down at LSU in order to win a championship. That you're going to have to have talent evaluators that can go out and find 2- and 3-star kids that you haven't got to pay a whole lot of money to get them on campus, and they got to perform like Darius, Marcel Darius. You got to have players like that. You got to have players that want to be in Tuscaloosa playing for that script A with a chance to that they still think that they can win a championship. And it's gonna take better evaluation of that. And this is all this goes back to the rule that Coach Saban caused and when he was going out and evaluating talent in the springtime. It all goes back to that. They don't want us to be great. They want to do everything they can to stop us from being great. Do you not agree with that?
Well, I mean, I think everybody's always going to target, Alabama and view us as the standard, right? Unfortunately, I feel like we've kind of lost that mystique, over the last, and I wouldn't even just say last year, even last couple of years. You know what I mean? I think, the target on our back had already gotten bigger and bigger. And I think at this point, unfortunately, kind of like me and my dad were saying the other day, I don't think people are really scared to play Alabama anymore. I think that fear factor is kind of gone.
Right.
So I'll be honest with you. I don't think it's like, people are out to get Alabama at this point. I think people view Alabama as being on an even playing field. I mean, because you got teams like Vanderbilt, Florida State. I mean, like you saw Florida State, that they're not scared. If anything, they're eager for this matchup because they know that they have a good chance. And I think, unfortunately, man, until we get that back, Alabama is just going to be on the same playing field with a lot of these teams. But to your point about the recruiting, though, here's my thing, Pat. I don't understand why people are bringing up, and I know AJ made a comment about the NIL thing, and yes, there are teams with bigger budgets. That's true, but I think people are kind of acting as if, we haven't signed good players. We have good players. I mean, again, and I'm not saying I agree with these lists.
good players are not the issue. Poor coaching is the issue on defense.
Well, I
I'm
don't
not
even,
happy. Dylan Lee. Hey, I watched his tape. I watched his recruiting from the time he was a junior in high school. And hey, Lee is a very good. He has skills, but you got to have coaching. You got to coach him up. And I don't know what happened to Bray Hubbard from last year to this year. That Bray Hubbard was a dog last year. I don't understand. I don't know what's going on. I got to lay it on poor defensive coaching from all the way from the defensive line, all the way to the linebackers, all the way to the defensive backs. And
and that's why, and I think it's tough, right? Because on one hand, I definitely look at some fundamentals that I'm seeing those guys go out there and play with, and to me, they're not great fundamentals. They're not playing with good technique. Bad effort, but it's hard to pinpoint exactly. Is that because they're being taught bad fundamentals, or does that just mean when they show up in the game, it just goes out the window? If you go back and listen to what Mark Ingram said, he agreed with what I was saying. Like in practice, in the scrimmage settings, I don't know how many scrimmages he saw, but I know he's been at practice. I mean, these guys are playing hard. They look good. I mean, he even said he thought they were just as good, if not better, than teams like Texas and Ohio State, and he's seen those teams too behind the scenes. That's my thing. Is it just something? Is it not? Why is it not translating to the games? Because I mean, I can't wrap my head around that, and that's why I do think some of it falls on coaching, but I also think some of it falls on the players. Man, like we always talked about, you got to control what you can control, and things that you can control is your effort, right? Like there's no excuse for that, right? It doesn't matter how much talent you have, how experienced you are. That is something that you have 100% control over. And to me, like as a football player, man, we always talk about football is the one sport that's like year round physically, right? You're doing something year round, but you only get this amount of opportunities. You only get 12 guaranteed games during the regular season, right? Maybe a bowl game, maybe a playoff run. That's it. But you're working around the clock. Why the hell would you not go out there and give 110% effort and really go in? Like that's the whole point. You're doing everything else for. If not, you're wasting your time. So to me, that part falls on the players. But I also think there is a cultural leadership aspect that has to take place. Again, where guys have to understand, if I don't, I know I'm going to be held accountable, not only by my teammates, which is really important, but also by my coaches. And that's where, like when Smitty was talking about, I wouldn't mind seeing guys say, if you got to put somebody on the bench, put them on the bench. Now, he mentioned left tackle. I'll be honest with you. And he was like, well, how much worse could it get? I'll be honest with you. I mean, we don't have I know Proctor's struggling, but we don't have a tackle that's better than Proctor. That is what it is. And to me, going back to recruiting, I just feel personally we have not recruited well when it comes to the trenches, right? I just don't think we've recruited the same level of players offensively or defensively in terms of the line. I don't see that same level of elite play, right? Like I shared a video of like Peter Woods, man. I know, look, recruiting, NIL, whatever the case may be, I know he got away, but it was a clip from I think their first game against LSU. And you just see the quick step off the football, violent shedding, throwing guys around. I mean, like that's how you play defensive line. I just can't say I've really seen guys play that position to that extent, to that level over the last few years here. And I think to me, we got to do a better job of finding more players like that, right? I think that we're lacking in that area. And if you look at the success that we've had here, it's always built around strong trench play. And unfortunately, we just haven't had that in recent years.
Owen coming in, but we've missed on Elijah Golden. It appears that my school's still out. He looks like he's going to Notre Dame. That you cannot miss on these players. That I don't know what it's going to take in order to do that and to get them. But hey, we got to make some changes. Some wholesale changes have got to be made. And I don't know who's out there that's better. That's not my job. My job is to call in and talk about it with you.
That's right.
But look, I mean, if we didn't have something to talk about, I guess we wouldn't be happy. But however, things has got to. We expect more out of this, but we're also that we're still Alabama. However, that $20 million that everybody gets now, and if they be $23 million, whatever, doesn't matter. That it some things have got to change, and I think things have got to change with coaches. I don't know. Like to me, it's coaches that we got to pay and not players. I mean, you got to have Jimmys and Joes, but if you ain't got somebody can teach them, like I said, I think I would just about as well have a good 2.5 or 3-star than I had a 5-star if I can get him to show me 100% heart.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you, man. I think you got to have a balance. I think we really just need a couple guys that you got to watch at night that you just don't know what they might get into. I know we laugh about, some of the stuff at other schools, and obviously you don't want that, but I'm just being completely honest with you, man. I think sometimes you got to have a little bit of an edge on your roster.
Yeah.
So,
all right, Ohio State. Ohio State's going out and getting defensive ends that'll go in and disrupt the backfield. We don't have them.
Yeah, and that was one of my biggest areas that I said we needed to address, right? We needed a true edge presence, a guy that you felt confident can go out there and win his one-on-ones, and we didn't address that in the portal, which I was confused why we didn't at least do that. And now I think, unfortunately, we're kind of seeing that show up. And I said, man, we got to have an edge presence. I don't know, man. So we'll see. I mean, you always can create rush, or pressure on the quarterback. But it's always better when you have guys that can go out there and just do it and win their one-on-ones. That way you don't have to worry about it. But, Pat, we appreciate you, brother. We're going to hit this time out.
Appreciate you letting me rant. Thank you, sir.
Always, brother. Yes, sir. Take care. Good deal. All right, we got to hit our next timeout. When we come back, we keep on rolling right here on this Wednesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. And drop my phone on the keyboard. Hope I ain't messing anything up. All right. Appreciate everybody that's in here, man, hanging out with us again. If you guys are just joining us, man, make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe, all that stuff if you enjoy the content. We're going phone lines right now. When we come back, we'll start. We got some more calls, but we definitely want to dive into a couple other things. I know we got that running game breakdown from Landon that I probably will pull up here, but where is this part in this video, guys? Y'all remember where it was at?
Had a running back from Aniana scored 2 touchdowns for the Bulldogs this weekend.
Trying to find
people off.
How does Freshpet?
Trying to find where they were talking about this. Let's see. If we got any questions in the chat that I missed too. Hold on. Try to do a million things at once.
Baltimore area, in that area. But competed on offense till the end, at least. The other dudes, Ryan Williams, I'm telling you, and I love Ryan. He's from my area, but I'm calling Ryan out because Ryan was a no-show that game, and you can't have that from a dude that's a preseason All-SEC, possibly an All-American. I mean, you can't have that. And
Alabama's rich with talent. It's not a talent issue when you're losing to a 2-10 team, giving up 140 on the ground to UCS old quarterback. Well, here's the thing. That's why I've been saying, I mean, like, I know people are bringing up NIL numbers, but to me, I don't think that's necessarily relevant right now, unless you want to say, like, we couldn't be as aggressive in the portal this past portal window because we were trying to be, I don't know, I guess smart with our NIL, our collective. But here's the thing, guys, we had nobody leave, right? We had nobody leave. So to me, that already indicates that we didn't really anticipate bringing in a whole bunch of guys. I think the staff saw what they had in the spring and they felt confident in what they had. I just personally, to me, I like, and I talked about this in the spring when this whole talk was going on. People were saying, "Oh, what would you add?" And I always say, like, an edge rusher, number one, man. I think we need an edge rusher. And if you could find you another defensive lineman, like a plug and play guy. I know you bring in Kelby Collins, but to me, I'm not talking about that type of player. I'm talking about a guy that like, all right, man, this dude produced where he just came from, and he's coming in, and we know he's going to be an immediate addition that he's going to, help increase our production up there, right? Not a depth piece. So if you're saying NIL from that standpoint, okay, I could understand maybe that. But but again, we have players. Even like you look at it like last year, I know everybody's like, oh, Kalen lost so many guys. Yes, a lot of guys did transfer. But look at all the other guys he also retained. I mean, I feel like the narrative just keeps shifting. I mean, one minute everybody's saying, oh, the talent Kalen DeBoer is going to have, working at Alabama compared to Washington. Imagine what he can do here. Now everybody, I'm talking about like our own fan base. Now everybody's saying, oh, but the talent level is not the same. I mean, like it's before everybody was saying that we had the best coaching staff. Like last year, people got mad when my dad was sitting on here and he said, I don't know how I feel about all the hires. Everybody got mad. They listened to reports. These analytic guys that never played football saying Alabama has the number one coaching staff in the country or whatever, and it's better than Coach Saban's staff. And people got mad, and we were like, I just don't know where they're coming up with that. And now everybody, not even a year later, is over here saying they want to get rid of everybody. I mean, like, we just got to pick and choose, man. I mean, it's like people are just so back and forth. Start a GoFundMe. Y'all are wild. Y'all are wild, man. Oh man.
And
welcome back into this Wednesday edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We only got a couple minutes for this top of the hour break, so we'll save some of those callers. But real quick, I know we're going to keep weaving in and out of this AJ McCarron and Siski podcast on the Bama Standard, because I still want to find that part, but they were giving their thoughts on the game, and I definitely thought it was good. But with these couple minutes that we have, I wanted to bring this point up, and this was that, again, the whole deal about Alabama will have a field logo for the first time in Bryant-Denny Stadium on Saban Field, right? So curious what you guys think about this, right? It's going to be a Build Giants Alabama logo. It's going to be painted on the 25-yard lines beginning this Saturday as we take on ULM. And I think there is an article written with more details on it right here. But basically, I think it's a partnership with the United States Navy and that program that they have. I'll be honest with you, if it brings in more revenue to put towards NIL, whatever the case may be, I don't have a problem with it. I don't think, logo on the field is that big of a deal, especially one that just says, wait, where'd the picture go? Sorry, we just had it. The picture here, Build Giants, Alabama. Personally, I don't have a problem with it. Somebody says, F that logo. Oh, God. Look, but here's the thing, guys. I mean, where we're at in this landscape, I mean, you got to find ways to generate more revenue. And, I mean, yeah, you guys don't seem very happy with it. I'm looking at our YouTube chat. You guys don't seem too pleased with it. But if it gets you more players, though, don't you think that's probably the right idea? I mean, Chase, what do you think? I mean, if something simple like this, which I know, I mean, it's, on the field, I guess some people are like, don't touch our sacred field and all that good stuff. But, like, if it allows us to have more money to pay guys, right, since people are complaining about that, don't you think it's the right idea? Plus, I know we had talked about this earlier, and we said the logo would have to make sense. I feel like, and I don't know if that's the exact, model, like that's what it's going to be. But if so, I don't think that's bad. Chase, what do you think? I guess you don't have any thoughts, Chase. All right, no worries. Let's see.
Sorry, Christian. I was on the phone lines. I don't know. This is something I never thought I would see, especially when it comes to U of A. But money talks. Money talks. It'll never stop talking.
100%. I mean, yeah. Jared says here, he says, it's a partnership with the U.S. Navy. Come on, guys. It's a no-brainer. That's why I'm like, I think the partnership, right? Look, it's the Navy, right? It's a nice, clean, simple logo. Hell, it says Alabama in there. I don't think it's bad. Michael says he likes it. Jamie says logo doesn't bother him. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I'm kind of indifferent, man. At the end of the day, football's still going to be played on it. The field's still 100 yards long, 53 yards wide, same line, same hash marks, all that good stuff. Look, and it could have been worse. Imagine if they had like just think of a logo that just would have looked terrible. Right? I know Golden Flakes does a whole bunch with Alabama. Imagine if it was Golden Flakes. No disrespect to Golden Flakes. You guys still want to work with us. Cool. We love it. But, yeah, I don't think I would. Golden Flakes will look cheesy, just being honest. That, to me, I don't have a problem with it. I can get away with that. That being said, let's go ahead and do this. Let's hit this top of the hour break. We come back, we keep on rolling. But hey, reminder about our new friends over at Asphalt Restoration. If you've got cracks or potholes that are dragging down your property's appeal, make sure you guys check them out at Asphalt Restoration. They transform driveways, parking lots with expert repairs, new paving, or resurfacing, fast, durable, and they're family-owned, meaning it's quality that you can trust. Don't let small issues turn into big expenses. Make sure you give Asphalt Restoration a call today, 205-393-9149 for your free estimate. Again, that's 205-393-9149. Asphalt Restoration, where smooth roads start. We got to hit this top of the hour break. When we come back, we keep on rolling right here on the Miller's Edge, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Sport Experts, Title 100.9, 1230 WTBC. If it creates dogs on that football field, you can paint oh God, I can't and you wouldn't care. Hey, fair enough. Wow. Does Bama still have the 2023 class intact? I'll be honest, man, I don't even know. We don't really keep up a whole great deal of recruiting around here. I don't even remember who was in that class. Maybe some folks in the chat can help you out, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not a recruiting expert, man. I'm a former player that just likes talking football. It's a way for the current administration to funnel money to people he likes. Oh.
They just played way too soft up front on offense. I thought we got away. Now, to criticize some of Grubb, right? Nick Sheridan caught so much shit last year, but you go to Grubb and you think he's going to be the savior. We come out in the first two series and we look different. We're a little under center and doing some different stuff. And we got up-tempo mixed in. You got some bootlegs, easy throws for Ty. You got some RPO games. Hell, we scored an RPO on the first series on an RPO play. Like, you had a good mixture. And then when you did.
And that was exactly what I talked about needing to be the game plan for Ty. Run the football, establish that running game, right? Get some good rhythm throws in there, some easy completions, build his confidence. Like, again, if you guys listened to the show last week, that's what we talked about they needed to do, and they did that. It's like AJ said, the first drive. I mean, the first drive, I give it, 9 out of 10, right? I mean, it literally looked, to me, it resembled old Alabama football, downhill physical running, getting some nice, rhythm throws in there, play action there. Like you mentioned, a little RPO in the red zone to score, punch it in. I mean, to me, talk about selling a dream. I'm like, damn, we're back. Like, I'm like, this is the type of offense we've been wanting to see for years. And then after, a little bit in the second drive, then after that, it just went out the window. It's like these guys, as soon as they sense any sort of like momentum from the other side, and they feel like they're playing from behind, even if it's early, playing from behind, like if you're down a touchdown, like to me, like they stick to what you do, man. Like, you don't need to throw everything out the window at that point.
Take a shot. You were play action because your run was successful. After the first two drives, we got away from that. And when you can't run the ball and you're steady trying to do play action and deep concepts, well, hell, they're not biting on that. They're just going to play coverage, and they know they're getting enough push up front with 4 guys. There's no reason. The run's not a threat. So,
and that's exactly what I talk about, having real pass rushers, because, again, you don't have to worry about bringing pressure from other places, right? Bringing backers, bringing DBs, right? Trying to generate pressure because your edge guys aren't really coming home. That's why it's so key. Like when we had, not just from our edge spots, but Matt, like, remember my senior year, right? I had 9.5 sacks. Bugs had 10 sacks. Quentin Williams had like 10 sacks. Dude, we combined for almost 30 sacks literally between the 3 of us. And I'm talking about that's from an edge, tackle, and a nose, man. You can just play coverage on the back end. You don't have to worry about it. But see, we just don't have that ability right now. And I'm telling you, it's a problem.
We got away from quick game. We didn't hit any screens, any running back screens. We threw one screen to Ryan Williams that he looked terrified going.
Christian Miller on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC.
Got blown up, and then
And welcome back into this Wednesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tie 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. All right. We're still loaded on the phone lines, man. So I think we can keep on rolling. That's no problem. 205-342-9904. I'll keep weaving some stuff in there, here and there. But, yeah, again, we've been kind of playing some of these clips from the Bama Standards podcast last night with AJ McCarron and Tyler Siskey, who he was here when I was here, man. He's a funny dude, but I think he does a podcast and he owns Quick U, I think that's what it's called. I don't know if it's like film service or something like that. But anyway, man, it was a great episode. I mean, those dudes are bringing the heat for sure. And you can check that out on their YouTube channel as well at the Bama Center. But let's keep on rolling on the phone lines. 205-342-9904. We got Carson up next. Carson, welcome in.
What's up, Christian? How you doing today, man?
Man, I can't complain, brother. Talk to me, man. What you got?
Hey, I'm not getting on the soapbox today. I did all of that Saturday night.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it was. Look, it's frustrating because you expect it to be better than what we saw, but I'm still optimistic, man. I don't know if it's blind optimism or, I'm just not willing to make, such bold claims. I understand the frustration of what happened, but
well, let me throw this in there real quick. I mean, here's something to consider. I was talking to my financial advisor this morning, and he brought up a good point. Notre Dame, they fell in week 2 to who? Was it
NIU?
Yeah, Northern Illinois or something like that. And I remember everybody was literally writing them off.
Dogging them.
Yeah, dogging them, and they were joking. They end up playing the national championship game. So,
right.
Hey, anything's possible.
No, 100%. And they actually had not a cupcake schedule for Notre Dame last year either. They had some ranked opponents that they had to play afterwards that were a test. So it wasn't, not the greatest comparison in the fact that, they didn't play an SEC schedule like what we have to play. But then again, I mean, look, while everybody was criticizing Kane Womack, saying fire him, and DeBoer as well, I actually was pleasantly surprised and heard what I needed to hear during the presser afterwards from Kane Womack.
Really?
Or the day. I thought that what he said kind of put me at ease, because I think a lot of what happened, I mean, obviously it was defense. It was defense, and not 80% defense. If I was going to give a percentage on where the issues lied, offensively, I'll go into it a little bit afterwards. But if I looked at that tape and I rewatched it, and it's effort, dude. It's effort. Like, are there some schematic things that I think could be changed? Yeah, like there's some things that like we need to put ourselves into better positions from a scheme standpoint and call the right plays and line up in the right stuff. Sure, but like that's a work in progress. I thought that when and I'm not naive either. I thought that Kane said some things that, well, I'm like, okay, he could be saying that just to save his butt, saying they prepared well. But then I go back to all of this stuff during the spring where people are at scrimmages saying, no, these guys are playing physical, man. It looks good, not to say that we're going to win 12 games, but like, it looks good. We look like we're talented, where we need to be at, where we're playing fast and everything. And that's not what we saw on the field Saturday. So it just goes to show that it's effort, man. It's concentration, it's straining, it's all of those things, and I think that can be fixed. So I think we're at a crossroads right now, and I don't want to make any claims about what I think it will be, what I don't think it will be, but I do want to recognize that, like, hey, this is a kick in the teeth, and like you have a decision to make as a team. Or what are we going to be? Last year it popped up in spots, but this year it's right. You can't run from it. Like this is what it's going to be, and so I think we will get to see what we're made of, and I'm excited for that. I mean, whether it's good or bad, I'm excited to see us answer the bell.
Yeah. No, and I agree, and that's why even my dad, and I know he's been really tough on the coaches, right? But he also said, I mean, he's not ready to jump too far ahead and say, oh, so and so or anybody needs to necessarily be gone. But he was saying that something needs to change. But I think, Carson, to me, the most head scratching thing is that these were the same things that plagued this football team last year, right? I know you talk about the effort or the lack of, right? Lack of physicality. Those are the things that plagued this football team last year, right? But we try to sum it up as, okay, it's Kalen DeBoer's first year, right? Even like he said, okay, well, this year, a year later, I can address things differently than I could have last year. But then you hear that, but then also you see how we show up week one. And to me, that's why it comes off as concerning, because I mean, you're talking about week one, the first. I mean, guys should be amped up. I get it's a road game, and it's a hostile game to start the season. And again, everybody points to that Florida State team as a 2-10 team, but I mean, it's a much different team than they were the year before. Just like hell, my high school year. I mean, like my junior year in high school, we won like 6 games, and the next year we went 12-0, and we were dominating. I mean, teams can change, especially when you have a transfer portal.
Oh, no question.
Right, but at the end of the day, though, none of that has anything to do with effort, physicality, running down, trying to hit somebody, not catching blocks. I mean, playing downhill. I mean, even I got a clip playing right now. You just see we were the hunted on Saturday. The whole game outside of that first drive. I mean, like you watch Earl Little, right? How aggressive those guys are filling those holes. 26, I don't even know who he was, right? They're backers. That's how you need to play the game of football. And that's how Alabama's always played the game of football. And that's why the whole debate kind of comes in where it's like, well, is it on the players? Because they're the ones out there. They're the ones out there lacking effort and not going hard and not playing physical, not going and punching somebody in the mouth. But then you also look at it like, but really it also is the coach's job too to get them, you know what I mean, ready to go do that. So, I mean, I think everybody needs to take a look in the mirror. And I think, look, they just need to figure out how to get it to translate. Because like you mentioned, people were talking about it. And I know a lot of times people do just say stuff in the media because it sounds good. You guys know me. I don't do that, right? I'll tell you guys how I see it or what I see. And when I've been at practice and in scrimmages, I also saw that. I saw what Mark Ingram was talking about. I saw what Josh Pate was talking about in terms of a physical practice, physical scrimmages, guys getting after it, really, hitting each other, blocking hard, finishing play. Like, I saw that too. So that's not a lie. But I didn't see that Saturday. And that is the biggest problem. Why are we not seeing that? And again, not just this year, but last year. That's four losses to unranked teams. And, what's the stat? I got to pull it up right here. And a season in a game, 14 games versus Coach Saban's 235-4. Again, not trying to compare the two, but it's just like, that to me, again, I could live with, okay, you go and lose to a ranked Georgia team. You lose to a ranked Tennessee team who made the playoffs. They have a good football team. We were at least given effort. We tried to play physical. We just lost the game. I can live with that. But what I can't live with is the fashion in which we're losing. And that's the most concerning thing to me, Carson. To me, that there needs to be an answer for that, whether it's from the coaches, the players, both. But until I see change there, again, I agree with you, though. The biggest issue is not the scheme, right? Play calling could be better. Yes, we got away from stuff. Defensively, there are some techniques that I'm not a big fan of. That being said, even with those things, we still should go out there and go beat that Florida State team. If you have better
100%.
Effort and go play physical, I agree with you.
100%. And there's no excuse. Like there's no excuse for no effort. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm not criticizing, because I am, and it's deserving. Like, you go play with effort. You go finish plays. And to me, it looked like there was no resiliency. It's like when you face adversity, it looked like those wounds that were created from last year by losing to Vanderbilt, by losing to Oklahoma, by losing even Michigan, it looked like, to me, those wounds were not calloused enough. And when you get in a moment of high pressure, of intensity, and you make mistakes, which happens, it's a natural thing, because I thought we came out pretty hot. Like offensively, we were juiced. Like it looked good. We looked physical. Defense gets on the field, gets punched in the mouth on the first drive, which happens. They're going to throw their best punch at like first 10 plays of the game. Like they're coming out hot and like they're trying to score. So to me, when that happened, it almost there was a switch that flipped. And I think I can't confirm anything. I'm just going off vibes, but like it looked to me that it was like well, here we go again. Here we go again. Not good enough. We can't do it. And you know, that has to change. It's not a capability thing. It's not a talent thing. And like I said, I don't think it's a scheme thing, even though I'm going to have disagreements about certain scheme play calls from anybody that I watch. I mean, Texas Sark is probably the best offensive play caller in the country, and I hated the way he called that game against Ohio State. So, look, that's neither here nor there. Like, that's stuff you work on over the span of the season, and it doesn't come down to one or two play calls, offensively or defensively. It can, I guess, but like, you know, I'm not worried about that as much, but it's like, man, we got to be more resilient. I know we got the players there. I know we could be physical. Like we got to be more resilient, but I think that the biggest takeaway I have is having the emotional intelligence to realize, or hoping that they have the emotional intelligence to realize where we're at. It's like, no, you just got kicked in the teeth. You just got embarrassed on the biggest stage, and everybody was hyping you up. So you have to get back to what is really important. And if not now, then it won't be ever. So I'm just excited we'll be able to see that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. I've been pointing that out. That to me is evident that when we're playing from behind, when we do face adversity, we just look flat. We look lifeless, and then we don't have that. And so somebody's got to step up. And I'm challenging the players, man, too. I know we're talking about coaches, but I'm challenging players, man. Like somebody has to take the reins, right? And I know I've seen like tie jump guys, you know, in practice, or even, you know, held the little thing after practice, and, you know, Proctor was talking about it, right? Getting on guys not having a good practice, but that you got to bring it to the games. That sideline has to feel that you have to have players that aren't afraid to jump players, because right now, man, it's just people aren't really accountable. Because again, I mean, dude, if and they got iPads too to see this stuff. Like when I was playing yard, somebody was low. We might not have seen it. It might have just brushed by. But now they got iPads, man. How do you look at the iPad after a series and be like, not call a dude out and be like, bro, hold on, whoa. I'm looking at the tape. I didn't see you because you were behind me during the play. What the hell are you doing? You know what I mean? No one cleans that's got to be addressed, man.
No, I'll leave you with this. I got a kind of a question. I know you're not an offensive guy, but it was really head scratching for me to see Ryan run out of the slot like 90% of the time. Like in your mind, like how do you get that result? Like what goes into moving him inside like that, especially with his frame and his skill set? Do you think that could be more of a, well, Jeremy has shown in practice that he is capable from an effort standpoint, from a technical standpoint, to where he is more polished, where we trust him on these types of routes and in this position maybe not over Ryan, like not more talented, but like maybe that's like a Ryan Grubb, like, okay, we're going to put Jeremy in this role because we can trust him? Or is that just a schematic thing? Because Ryan is an outside receiver. Sure, you can move him into the slot sometimes and move him around. Like, I would prefer that. But to line up in the slot 90% of the time, I don't know. That doesn't sit right with me, and I just want to get my head around it.
Well, I'll say this, and my dad might want to chime in a little bit too, but I think people forget. I mean, slot receivers typically, if you're a smaller guy, I mean, it's common to play in the slot, number one. But number two, I think you got to look at it like this. I think it's evident at this point, Jeremy Bernard's the best receiver that we have. He's the most polished guy. I know Ryan Williams brings that electric playmaking ability. But the reality is, if you go back and really watch, and I talked about this last year because everybody was talking about the plays he was making, but, you know, he's still learning and growing as a route runner. He never is, you know what I mean? Like, he's young. And we talked about that. Like, those are things that you got to consider. I think right now, you just look at Jeremy Bernard. I mean, he's your guy. And so I think they looked at it like this. Ryan he has the ability to play in there. It creates different matchups. It allows him to bring a different aspect. And sometimes it's not always about him being the key, read or the key target on a play. Sometimes him being lined up there also drags attention. And that could have been one of the main reasons you saw Bernard so open, because it brought so much attention onto him and it opened up other guys. So you got to think of it from that aspect. There's a rhyme and reason for them doing stuff. They wouldn't just put him there if they're like, oh, he's terrible at it, but we're going to keep him there. They obviously they had a game plan with that. But I do agree, he didn't necessarily look the most confident, comfortable. I don't know, whatever words you really want to use there. And maybe we'll see them change that moving forward when he comes back. But I do think he's capable of playing there. And I think it's just 1 week. I think you got to let it, play out. But I know I saw him playing it in practice. And I mean, he looked fine there. And I saw him make plenty of plays from the slot in practice. So I would just say I probably give it a couple weeks at least in game situations, because again, he's doing it in practice fine. But I think the thing is, what's evident though is Jeremy Bernard's, and Ricky said this, and we kind of were like, I don't know, but Ricky's right, man. Jeremy Bernard is clearly wide receiver 1. You want to chime in on that?
Well, I mean, how y'all doing, by the way? Listen, based on the defense we saw on Saturday, heck, I could look good in practice in the slot. I mean, so I'll say that. But listen, no, I mean, I think Ryan is a true slot, to be honest with you, because when you look at his skill set, his ability to get in and out of breaks, to work and get working, nickel and safety sometimes in coverage at that position. I think you look at trying to create mismatches, which I think what Alabama's mindset probably was in this ball game, to try to create something with him in that slot position, because you're not going to get your top corner normally on that guy. You don't get your top corner normally on the outside. But no, I mean, I think they were experimenting with some things. Jeremy Bernard is definitely a more mature, more polished, more, run the route tree better. When you got experience, you understand sometimes you have to cut routes off. You got to learn how to sit down in the zones and things like that. But you're talking about a team also that, right now they don't have any continuity as an offense, right, with Ty. I mean, it's going to take a little time to build that. And the offense normally starts out a little bit sluggish and slower than the defense, which is why I'm very shocked at how bad the defense played. But I think they're going to be fine. I think they got guys that can make plays, guys that can beat coverage, and just a matter of time that Ryan Grubb just figure that out. And they're gonna do some hard self-evaluating after this game, and they're gonna have to make some quick. I heard you saying earlier. And I've been saying this, you're going to have to make some decisions real quick in this thing to get things turned around. Let these kids know you're not joking around, no more playing. You want to, do what you do, late night, chicken wings, women, show up to meetings late, you're not going to play. Get guys that really want to be there and play. So I think that's what we're going to see.
Good take.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Carson, we appreciate you, bro. Good hearing from you, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for taking my call, and y'all have a blessed day, man.
Yes, sir. Always, man. Take care, bro. All right, good deal. Hitting this timeout, we come back, we keep on rolling. Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC.
Y'all like my shirt?
Commitment, discipline, toughness, pride, like just playing hard. Coming out here, playing relentless, being consistent each and every play, showing tremendous effort, toughness. Like I said, toughness is really like one of the big key factors in pride. Like having pride, lining up other guy next to you, like this guy's trying to take something away from you. Like you got to go out there and dominate them every single play, and that's why I'm telling the guys, like y'all got to have that pride when y'all go out there and play, bro. Like this dude trying to stop you from feeding your family. Like you finna let this dude stop you from feeding your family? Like nah, I can't let that happen. Like so everybody got to play with that edge, and that's what I'm trying to bring to the guys.
I mean, can we get 21 other guys with that mentality? That's Jeremy Bernard, one of your fish taco guys, came from Washington, man.
Yeah, I like him.
That's that cornbread collard green talk, man.
Yeah, but he got it, like you said. They're trying to take food off your table. That's
where's he from though? Hold on, hold on. Where is he from though? Where's he from? Hold on.
He's from the South. I bet he's from the South.
I don't think he is, man. I could be wrong. Nah, he's born in Las Vegas. I mean, you got to get out the mud out of Vegas too now. A little bit different out there though.
Jeremy Bernard is but he has the right mentality. So I want to ask what this shirt I got on. This is my Letterman Association of Letterman shirt. You can see there, Hall of Fame 2022. This shirt they gave us when you get inducted, one of the shirts.
Hold on.
I just got back from the facility. Matter of fact, I just got back from Gamecocks practice and watching Lenoris and the guys get things done. And had lunch with players and shot a video for legacy players. They're doing a cool deal with legacy players videos. So I just got back from that. So I wore my Hall of Fame shirt. That's what I got on, representing my university, the University of South Carolina.
Hold on now. Wait. This Tony.
Don't
said,
come here with no hate. Don't come on.
No. I'm not hating on South Carolina. No. Oops. No, I'm not hating on South Carolina. No, Tony said, hell yeah, your son should have been a Gamecock. He joined the wrong squad. First of all, Steve Spurrier, somebody in the chat, Drunk Steve Spurrier didn't really want me to be a Gamecock. They offered me, but they literally did like a half-ass offer. And two, I wouldn't have got none of that at South Carolina. Ring so heavy, tipping over.
Well, you look like Lenny right there. You want to sell one of them?
Nope. Matter of fact, I had somebody trying to buy some stuff the other day. I said, I can't do it, man. Can't come up off of them. Can't come up off of them.
Buy you a ring?
Nah, they wanted to buy a jersey. And I just told them, man, they had reached out to some of my teammates to get a hold of me. I was like, dang, they must have wanted a jersey bad. I don't know, but why the fuck I'm missing a ring? Hold on.
Maybe you sold one.
No, absolutely not. I would never in my life. 14, 15, 16, 18, 4 SEC. No, that's all of them. Damn. Got so many, you think you got more than you got.
Oh, now you've been Gee.
And we are back on this Wednesday edition of the Miller's Edge, tied under 0.9, 1230 WTBC. Tia's in the chat.
What up, Tia Carter?
Tia's been so lost. Tia's
what's wrong with Tia?
I'll tell you what's wrong.
Front and center, screaming and using profanities and all this stuff. And Lord, I can't even hear from Tia.
She hadn't even been keeping up with football. You know what she's been doing?
I mean, that's what
she moved. No, before the season started, she moved on. All I see her tweet about is damn reality TV.
No, nobody cares.
Yeah, whatever the dating shows and stuff, man. I'm like, what?
Dating show too?
Yeah, she's trying to get on them dating shows. Hey, Compax está aquí. ¿Qué lo que? Espero que esté bien.
I mean, listen, I know the game this week is a dud, right? Just like I was at the University of South Carolina just an hour or so ago, but these are the game itself, overall is not a good game to watch or, go see. But when you're looking at it from the standpoint of from a player's perspective, this is a game that coaches are looking at how they handle it, right? How they handle, like for South Carolina, the success, winning a big emotional game for Shane Beamer and his team, beating Virginia Tech, coming back, you playing a team that's 30 miles down the road, South Carolina State. Will you go out there and play hard? And if you're a starter, do your thing for a quarter and a half or 2 quarters and get out of the game. And then you're looking for an opportunity to get younger guys and getting more experience, finding some, true backups. And I think that's what Alabama has to do in this type of game. One, with the starting group, go out and dominate, which you should do. If you go out there and struggle against Louisiana Monroe, then wow, there's really going to be some boo birds. And really people are going to start calling for jobs. But you have to go out there and you dominate. You go out there and get up 28-0 in the first quarter. And 35-42-7 at half. And then you take Ty Simpson out and you put the backup quarterback in. You give him the ball for that half. And you put your backups in there. And you got to start building and see if guys can play. Those younger guys that you put in the game, give them some extra reps in these games. But if you go out there and lollygag and mess around and keeping a team like Louisiana Monroe in it, then that's a real problem. And again, the problem to me is still at the top and how you're running and organizing, your team, right? What's the mantra, the mindset? I woke up at 2:00 a.m. and I hit my YouTube and I listened to Stephen A. Smith with Paul Feinbaum and Cam Newton. And I don't even really watch them shows no more. But matter of fact, Stephen A. said the same stuff I said. I thought he done listened to our YouTube because he said the same
might.
thing.
Hey,
I
Miller's
said.
Edge has been on fire, man. He might have been
He said
tuned
the
in.
same thing that I said. But what's important is nationally, people don't respect Alabama like that anymore. That mystique is gone. Stephen A. said, forget the roll tide. We need to call you rolled over. I mean,
Jesus Christ.
Then that's bad. So that's what I'm saying. This is what, and it's really because of the effort. It's because guys were getting trucked. I mean, I watched another college football show. They showed Brady, the safety out there, getting trucked by a receiver. I mean, embarrassing. They showed these were embarrassing things that would never, ever, ever, ever happen under Nick Saban. And that's what people still are accustomed to. And then you go put this product on the field, that's embarrassing. You just did not lose. You were embarrassed. And it's going to take a heck of a lot for them to redeem themselves. They're going to have to go down to Georgia and win that game. That's what's going to stop the noise. That's what's going to stop people from saying what they're saying. And people can say, okay, all right, they had a bad whatever. Give them a pass there. They had one bad whatever. They learned from it. They grew from it. But it's going to take a win at Georgia, and I think it is massive for the culture. I think it is massive for if Kalen DeBoer really has control of this football team. That Georgia game is massive. It's not going to be Louisiana Monroe. It's not going to be Wisconsin. It's going to be at Georgia, on the road, crazy atmosphere. You're back against the wall. Do you play with effort? Does this team look to be more better coached? Is the systems going to work? It's going to be on display. And not just Alabama fans, but the whole country is really looking now to see if Kalen DeBoer is going to be the guy. And I think this is huge. So these next two weeks, man, I think it's going to say a whole lot about the future of Alabama football program. I will tell you this. We were talking to people, coaches, to players down in South Carolina. Everybody's shocked. Guys that play right now, they were shocked. They were shocked. But one comment was, nobody looks at Alabama like they used to be anymore. Nobody's afraid. Nobody have that kind of respect because they haven't earned it with Kalen DeBoer. And that's the mindset of college football teams. And I just heard this from college football players that's in the league. So that said to me, they have lost the respect from players, from coaches, from fans, based on you losing 4 games to unranked teams and getting your tail kicked. And that's where we are. That's where Alabama football, even Donald Trump, I heard, was making a comment about the game. I mean, brother, this has gone crazy. This thing has gone crazy because that just tells you how much respect Nick Saban and his program had. It was unbelievable, but now that respect is gone out of the door. And so should some of them cars be gone, because I'm standing on that. I mean, it's just like, man, this is ridiculous. We're paying you this kind of money for this kind of effort, for this type of performance. Can we get that money back? So we'll see. We'll see if.
Let me ask you this real quick. Let me ask you this. You mentioned the Georgia game, and I think that will be kind of like that litmus test, right? Kind of really gauge where Alabama truly is at, right? We all know ULM. I told folks we'll preview them a little bit, but I'm not going to give a huge, big breakdown.
No,
we should win that game comfortably. If like you mentioned, there's a struggle there. I don't think folks have anything left in them to try to hold any more grace. But in Wisconsin, I think a little bit little bit, maybe a couple answers here and there, maybe. But again, I think the biggest thing over the next couple of weeks is really just effort, physicality, the intangibles, that kind of deal. Even though you still should, it's easy to go beat up on an inferior opponent. You know what I mean? It's easy to look like the tough guy, even outside of football, right? You go pick on a small kid. It's easy to look big and bad, right? Pick on somebody your own size. What I'm getting at is, so when you talk about this Georgia game, we know it's going to be a tough game. They're a good squad. What if Alabama goes on the road and faces Georgia, and it's a good game? They play hard, the effort's better, they play physical, but they lose that game. Do you think that still would be enough? It's a close game, but they show they at least should be in there. Do you think that is enough to kind of help, not necessarily bring back the mystique, but kind of help kind of right the ship a little bit? Or you think they have to win that game?
No, I think it's just about how they play. I think they'll get a lot of respect. I mean, you know, it's going to hurt them if they lose, because people are going to say, well, they're not,
2-2.
we can't, right. We're not looking, they're going to be out of the top 25, which I can't even remember the last time that happened. I mean, so no, I think how they play is going to determine how people feel about the team going forward. I mean, because they're going to know going to Georgia, even if Nick Saban and the old Alabama was good, that's going to be a hardtail game, right? You're just not going down between the hedges and winning, unless you play a great football game, cause turnovers and that type of thing. So I think they will look at it a little bit differently. I think from the fan base, people look at least guys were playing good, or the defense played great, or we just had a turnover and we lost in the fourth quarter. I think people will feel much better going forward, and probably would say, well, Georgia's going, and LSU. I mean, they got a hard schedule. I don't even know, bro. But I think what I'm struggling with, Christian, is this team talent-wise good enough? Yeah, I've been talking about the effort, but I just like defensively, I'm struggling to think, is this team good enough? I mean, to win at a high clip, and I don't think so. Not defensively. I don't think so. I mean, I think they're going to have some struggles all year long. I think they got to recruit better, and I think the transfer portal should be huge for them. They got to find plug-and-play guys. I think they got some good young talent. They got some dudes. They got some pieces in the cupboards, and so to speak. But man, they got to find some dudes in the portal that can come in and play. Like, I would have definitely went in that portal and got me edge guy or defensive end, somebody that can just cause havoc.
I would have got a deep tackle and an edge rusher.
I would have got a linebacker. I maybe would have messed with the secondary, but them front seven, I would have been out there, man. I would have been out there, Greg Byrne, with a checkbook. Like, how much you need? Huh? You know. I mean, you think you can get 12, 15 seconds? Okay, let's write this out here. You know what I mean? You know, that's what they should have been doing instead of, oh, we got 5 stars and 4. No. Another thing some guys said.
Well, they did go linebacker, but they went Hill Green. But you're saying more of the guy from Colorado. So technically they did get a backer from the portal.
You saw Colorado defense last year?
I did. I get what you're saying.
Kind of like what we saw with Alabama on Saturday.
There was an edge rusher in the portal that I thought we should have went after. I can't remember. No. I'm saying that I thought we should have went after, but we didn't. I can't remember what school it was, but I think he was like a six sack guy or something like that. We didn't.
I'm talking about going find some play. I'm talking about somebody that we can pay some money. I mean, like, that's worth some money. Like, top 2-3 guy. You're Alabama. You got them rings you just showed. Look like they need some dusting off. Look like they a little dusty. But the thing is,
easy.
You know what I mean? You got that stuff. You got history. You have some or had some culture. You're going to be very attractive to a free agent that say, hey, man, we got a lot of talent here. We just need some veteran help. We need some leadership help. Go find that guy. I mean, so I don't really see Alabama doing better than 8-4 this year. I think that's the best that they can do. I really do, based on their talent. I don't care, and I think they can probably get away with that based on what we've seen Saturday. I think they can still lose to LSU and Georgia, maybe South Carolina, maybe Oklahoma. I don't know, but I think the best that they can do is I think they have 8-4 talent on defense, offensively. You know, the offensive line is better, but still has struggles. I mean, the first drive to me, I was very excited. You know, they got back to smashing people, but then 55 yards, and then boom, they did nothing after that. Why? I mean, so there's a lot of question marks for this football team, but it's going to be 2.5 weeks before we know anything going forward. We're not at practice. We don't know what they're doing. We don't know what changes is happening. We don't know how they're coaching. I would love to be a fly on the wall to see what that looks like. I will have them running gassers, stadium steps, treadmill uphill. I mean, I'm telling you. I mean, this like I've heard coaches before say when we played like that or had a game similar to that, it'll be like we're going to see who we can trust. You know how they do that? They will put your tail through some of the most gruesome workouts and running. And whoever quit, good. That let us know that you don't deserve to be here. Whoever fought their tail off and said, I ain't quitting, then those are guys you go to fight with. And there were guys that couldn't take it. And those are the guys I was glad to see go. And coaches were glad to see go. Because, they weren't tough enough.
That just reminded me of a story real quick before you go to the phone lines here. During summer workouts one year, we had a guy legit quit during our workout. Like we were doing our 110s with Coach Cochran, and we kept going. Guys were missing time, so that means they didn't count. And I kid you not, there was a walk-on running back from like Mobile or something. And he just casually just exited the field. And everybody was like, yo, what the hell? Like, yo, is he straight? Like, we thought he was hurt or something. Dude legit left the field, and I promised the guy he never came back. Unless I'm remembering wrong, but I don't think we ever saw a dude ever again. Dude literally just walked off the field that day during one and said, this ain't for me. I don't know why I'm out here. And he ain't end up playing football, man. So you're right. Those tests can get it can weed the bad apples out for sure. All right. Let's go to the phone lines real quick. We got a new caller. We got Chance up next. Chance, welcome in.
Oh, what's up, Christian?
Hey, what's up, Chance?
Oh, I'm a huge fan, man. Some of my favorite years of Alabama football was watching you play. So it's an honor to talk to you.
Oh, thanks, man. No, I appreciate you calling. It's an honor to have you as a new caller, man. Welcome in.
Yeah, absolutely. What's up, Pops? I don't know if you're listening, but what's up to you?
Yeah, he's on here. I think his connection kind of just added funny, but he'll pop back up. But he'll be here in a second.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, I mean, you're a defensive mind, and you played with some great defensive players. And Saturday, do you think it's a scheme thing? I know the other caller mentioned something about that, but
yeah.
Do you think that?
So here's the thing, Chance. I'll be honest with you, man. I think, like, if we had to go in an order of operation or list everything, I think first and foremost, effort, lack of effort, I should say. Lack of physicality, not being the aggressor,
sure.
Being hesitant, being timid, not being sure of what we're doing. You know what I mean? Like that is the biggest issue out of it. That trumps everything, and it's not even close, right? So I would say that number one. I mean, schematically, I'll be honest with you. I've been trying to teach everybody up on like the 4-2-5 and what that. It's not that, right? That's just nickel defense. Everybody runs it. You have to match personnel. Now, if you want to talk about like the I guess like the ins and outs of what they're doing out of nickel. Yes, there's some things that I feel like, probably could be better. For example, some of the linebacker technique, I feel like, and again, maybe they're not necessarily coaching it this way, but like I know they do coach like, the package they have where they have a mug up on running downs. I'm not a fan of that personally. Right. But again, that's their coaching, their coaching staff. That's their stuff. It is what it is. But for me, like I said, you can always, be picky about schemes and say, oh, this needs to be better. But I don't think we lost the game primarily because of the scheme, if I'm being completely honest with you. Right?
Oh, no, I don't. I don't think so either. And
no.
I totally agree with you on that. It was a lot.
Guys have to execute. They have to execute too. I mean, you talk about setting edges, right? I mean, like I was looking at, it's a number of plays where I know for a fact this guy's supposed to force the edge. He's supposed to set the edge. He doesn't do that. He's waiting. He's catching. I'm watching guys, instead of pressing, right? Fundamentally, they end up just taking it, saying, oh, I'm doing my job. I'm taking my gap. That's not how you play defense. You have to know, like, from a football perspective, right? Like, I know I'm a C-gap player, but I'm going to press here, right? That way I help my force player out.
Right.
It's those little things. That's not scheme related. They have guys in position or where they should be in position, but they're not executing correctly. So to me, I think the effort, the lack of it, lack of physicality, lack of execution, to me, that was the number one issue in this game this past weekend.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you because, I mean, watching you and watching defenses from back then, everything was intentionality. It was all intentional. Everything you did, there was a reason for doing it. And, you know, what's so strange is that y'all brought up Bray Hubbard and Deontay Lawson, and it's just it's night and day from last season. I mean, maybe they didn't highlight it enough last season, but I saw Bray Hubbard flying to the ball last year. Deontay too, but I did not see that Saturday. And I just can't understand how off season you can go from that to that. Like that's insane to me.
Well,
I don't understand that.
Let me throw this in here too. Here's what this game really was set up to be a buzzsaw. And because you go back 2 years ago, right? Alabama got in the playoffs when they lost to Michigan. Jalen Milroe over a undefeated, and then they lost in an ACC championship. They didn't win the ACC, no, they won it. And undefeated 13-0 Florida State football team. Well, the hatred had begun for Alabama even the more, right? Then they go, bring in all these guys, Castellanos and all the other players, and that intrigue of this game has been built up since they saw it on the schedule. So you knew that you were going to go down there and face a team that wanted nothing but to destroy you and beat you and pay you back for what they felt. It wasn't Alabama's fault that the committee picked them, right? But they became that team that they wanted to punch them in the mouth. So the coaches used that as motivation. With Alabama went down there very casual and thinking, well, this is the 2-10 team last year. They're not that good. Georgia beat the brakes off of them when all the players left, blah, blah, blah. So their mindset and intensity was not there. And I'm telling you, what you saw in this game was a flat football team who thought they were going to just show up and thought because they were Alabama that they could just show up and win this football game. It just shows you what intensity and desire and determination and discipline and will, how much that plays into this game called football. Right. You had one team motivated like crazy, and another team just thought that they were going to show up to the dance. And that's what it looked like. Now, do I think Florida State just have better players across the board than Alabama? No. As a matter of fact, if I thought these teams redid everything and said, let's play again, I probably would still pick Alabama because everybody's giving Florida State now this love and got them ranked at 14, which is ludicrous to me. I don't think they're that good. I think they're okay, but because they beat Alabama, they're getting all this national love. So Alabama just got that thing between your ears. You know this. If that's not right in football, bro, and you go try to play a game, you can't make it.
I'm gonna go down here. Well, what's crazy is that there's still people there from the Nick Saban years. Deontay Lawson is a Nick Saban guy. Like they know the standard. Yeah. They lived it. They know it. And that's what's so upsetting is they fall so short. Like he knew that it didn't matter whether it was Louisiana Monroe, Florida State, whoever it was. They all got you gave them their best. It's like it was a championship game every time. That's what made Saban so great. And much love to you, Pops. Always non-filter with you. That's so great. That's why I love you, man. You're awesome.
No doubt. Hey, Chance, we got a couple callers to try to squeeze in, but thank you so much for calling, man. Glad you.
No, you're totally good.
Chance,
stuff.
good talking with you,
absolutely, man. Roll Tide.
God bless you, man.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide. Hey, Chase, since we only got a few minutes because we're going to have to get out here early, let's squeeze Bryce in here because I know he's also been waiting. Bryce, you still with us?
Guys, this is where I'm at, okay? This is just my opinion. It starts at home. When you get that scholarship to go to Alabama, your parents have got to instill you and tell you how much a privilege it is to wear the strip tape. And that's what we don't have right now. Okay? And then the coaches, they need to look at themselves. No, I take that back. The president needs to go to Greg Burns and tell him, you hired this guy. You need to go down there and have a talk with him and straighten this out. Okay? And the board needs to tell his staff and how much a privilege it is to be here at Alabama and to coach. And then they need to go to the players. That we don't have pride and heart. Now, Christian, when you were playing ball, if Castellano had run his mouth, what would have happened Saturday?
Oh, we would have been out. Yeah, we would have had his number whole game.
Yeah,
Just
and
just like remember, here's an
defense.
example. Remember Joe Burrow, he wasn't even really talking crazy, but he just was like, oh, well, it's another game on the schedule. When he had transferred down to LSU in 2018, that was his first year starting. And you see how that game went. I mean, Quinnen, I sacked him twice. Quinnen sacked him like 4 times. I mean, like he came over to us after the game, was like, man, I pay y'all, I owe y'all so much respect, man. Y'all should not, because and he didn't even say anything crazy. We just felt disrespected because we're like, nah, we're not just anybody else.
Yeah. And we don't have a leader on this defense. I didn't see Saturday. Lack of effort is what disappointed me. We had nobody going to the ball, lack of effort. No leader on that defense. And when you did something stupid like this defense is doing, somebody hold them accountable and call them out. I mean, maybe it's not his personality, but Coach DeBoer, stands over there, looks like he's coaching Pee Wee football. No emotion or nothing. Now, for him to scream and holler, that might be his MO like Nick Saban, but you got to show some kind of emotion like you care. And when these people make these 15-yard penalties, you got to hold them accountable. Jerk them out there and talk to them and say, this is not going to be tolerated.
That's fair.
And that's what made me so mad Saturday. No effort.
Yeah, I think that was definitely the most disappointing thing, really. Like I said, I mean, people jump to scheme and stuff, but that wasn't the issue. Just like somebody in the chat said, everybody jumps like, 4-2-5 or 3-3-5. That's literally what Florida State runs. They base out of a 3-3-5, which is even a lighter load, right? And they literally dominated our offense. So that's why I try to tell everybody, man, it's about the nature in which you play. And those guys played aggressive. They were hunting us. They were playing physical. They were flying down and run support, and that's how you play defense. And unfortunately, we didn't play like that.
Right. And is POP still listening? Listen, ask him who their home
I'm right here.
Coming opponent is.
Say it again, Bryce.
Is it us?
Who's y'all's homecoming opponent?
Homecoming? Alabama.
Yeah.
That's bold.
Hey, listen, now, Kristen, do I need to say any more?
No,
I've never heard of us being anybody's homecoming opponent.
Listen, hey, Alabama, the script A, the cursive A, which the young people don't even know how to write in cursive no more. But listen, that's where it's at, bro. I think the homecoming, we always scheduled somebody that we knew we were going to get a W. I don't know. I don't know if that was the case with this whole thing, Bryce, but it just goes to show. I'm just telling you right now, the word already is that people down here are not scared of Alabama. That's one, and it's not just because of Florida State lost, it's because they played them at their place and they felt like they left one on the field last year. So there's confidence in that ball game, but it's going to be a good game. I mean, listen, I think Alabama's going to be better some kind of way, somehow. They're not going to stay the same. I don't think that we're going to see the same. We can't, right? If someone just put in here, what if they lose to Wisconsin? Sam did. Then if that's the case, he need to fire about every position coach that he has. I mean,
exactly.
They're not going to fire him because this buyout is $70 million.
That don't matter in Alabama. If he's thinking it up, not getting it done, they're
not going to pay this man $70 million, Bryce. They're not going to pay.
Okay,
no school's going to pay anybody $70 million to go home and sit on the couch and eat popcorn with the shoes off. I mean, they ain't gonna happen. Now what they might do.
I disagree. I know somebody that won't let him tear down his legacy, what he has built. If he has to, he'll put some in the pot.
No,
that's
right? $70 million. Then you're gonna have to go find a new coach. That's probably gonna be if you want a good coach. That same $8, $9, $10, $12 million. I just don't see that happening. But what I do see. Them saying, you know what, fire your defensive coordinator, fire this position guy, fire this guy. I think they can be drastic changes, which I already think they need drastic changes on this staff, period. I mean, and I think you need to look at the weight room and who you got there, because when I see the defensive line getting their tails knocked back, when I see players getting thrown and shucked, as we like, shuck that player, like we used to call it, like just thrown like they're a piece of plastic. Like that's how guys were getting thrown to the ground. When I see the offensive line get knocked back and just beat up, that to me tells me that the strength program is ridiculous. I don't even know the guy. I know I heard him talk about all this science stuff, but let me tell you something. Back to the basics. Bench press, squats, power cleans, lifts, jerks. This stuff is football movements. You got to be strong in your lower body. You got to be strong in your upper body so you can get guys off you and you can punch them in the chest. And like they are pity pat. They are catchers and not strikers. What I saw, Alabama has become a team
and I
of
agree with
catching
everything
and
you're
not
saying.
striking.
Oh, and one thing, it's a true story. When Alabama was playing Texas in the national championship, the first national championship that Saban won, there's a guy that played for the Cowboys. His name was Nate Newton. He used to come to the Ford place where I worked at, get his truck service, and he said he knew they was in trouble after the game. When they first ran out on the field, Alabama said, "Look, me and playing boys, they were intimidated. They knew they were in trouble. They wasn't going to win that game." You don't have that anymore against Alabama. Nobody fears us. You got to get that back.
Yeah, you gotta go bust people in the mouth. I hate to say it like that. I'm about love, folks. I am. But I understand. A guy just asked me when I was doing my video, what was different about you on the field? I said when the lights came on, I transitioned into something different than what I was seeing me at the local hamburger joint. Right? I'm a nice guy, introvert. But when them lights came on, and I had a desire, you know why? Because I had to wear holy jeans to school. I had to wear shoes to school with the rubber bottom falling off, right? Same clothes every day, 2 and 3 times in a row. So when you get to a place that you have a kind of desire and hunger, thirst to make it and to get out of a situation, bruh, you play football a little bit differently, right? You know, and that was me. These guys, and I keep saying this, because you get this money and all these NIL deals, and they got more than a scholarship, and they can go get Gucci bags, and they can go get Louis Vuitton and buy these ugly suits and all of this stuff. They lose their desire to work, to go eat, fight for the food, go fight baby needs diapers and milk, that kind of attitude that we saw so many times. They don't have that no more because they're getting the money right now. But I tell you this, one coach, we talked about this earlier, if they stop calling these kids amateurs and you start calling them professionals, and when you're a professional, and if you don't do your job, something happens. They call it fired. So when you're a professional, you fire people, and also they'll stop them from leaving because you're under contract. So that's the other thing what I'm going to tell you. This is what needs to happen. Stop giving them this free money. Make them earn it. And if they don't earn it, you bring in the next guy, and you won't have all these problems, period. Stop calling them amateurs. Start calling them professionals, and we can have a new program.
That being said, we got to get out of here, make room for Wyatt and Teton Sports Daily coming up next right here, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. See you guys tomorrow.